Right, we got a game with against a 7K because this account is 5Q. So it's good to do a teaching game, and actually, like, if you're around the 5K, 7K rank, the best way to improve is to play like with like stronger players. And not only that, the best way to actually improve is with stronger players, but that's actually not a very good move here. And then have people review your games to see what you're doing wrong, because you're going to make a lot of obvious mistakes that stronger players will be able to see and help you with in this rank. He's probably going to do the 2 here, I would guess, and that would be a bad move because it lets me block right away. I'm not that familiar. Okay, he does that. I'm going to ignore that. I'm not actually that familiar with this particular move, and I'm not really sure how to invade this corner. My guess is it's like this. I don't think that's a good move. If I do this now, I think I'm going to do that. And then if he does this, I'm just going to ladder out. No? This is an interesting one. This is an interesting thing to do. Because if I do this, he's still kind of dead. I don't actually like this shape. Like I said, I'm not really all that familiar with that high space. I'm not exactly sure how to invade, and that is something I'm gonna have to work on, because this can put me down by a lot. I think I'm going to probably go here first at some time along the line. Just to see what he actually does. You do this first. So I have to do that. Then you probably have to do this. This is okay. Definitely taking a risk with this. Actually, this is really bad for me, actually. Yeah, I think he definitely miscalculated this. He 100% miscalculated this. He's definitely forgetting something. He's forgetting. I think he forgot about that. That gives me an extra liberty, and which means he's screwed. Yeah, he basically lost this game. That's just lack of calculation. That's complete lack of calculation, because like he forgot like this Tsuji here in the corner. If you cut here on this, he can't extend, so that gives you an extra liberty. Obviously, that loses you the game. That 100% loses you the game. See, like, I think in this situation, I actually think in this situation, a lot of weaker players would be accustomed to playing here, but if you played here and I was black, I would ignore you. So That's not a good play right now. Invading here is definitely not a good... Well, actually, let's see what he does if I invade there. Usually, I mean, like... See, like, this group isn't really... This group, honestly, is not all that strong right now. These 4 stones. It's not really... That's a bad move. Because I don't think you can actually make alive when you do that. I don't mind if he... I actually don't mind if he lives. I have the ladder there, so if he actually connects... I'm just going to extend out, because I'm going to make sure my ladder actually works. Because this doesn't really matter all that much. Like, he's just flying into my thickness. He's honestly just flying into my thickness, and that's not really going to help him. And I think he's just going to end up making me a lot thicker than I was. Which is kind of like the whole goal of this. He can't threaten my group down here. And plus he still has this problem right here. If I fight the Ko... Oh, that's awful. Because that doesn't get rid of this problem. It actually just makes it worse. That makes it a lot worse. Now you're essentially just dead. Oh, that's also the worst move you could possibly make there. You definitely, like... Oh my gosh. Yeah, he made so many mistakes here. I could cut and fight the Ko with him, but I'm just going to connect and see which one he does. Whichever one he connects, I'm going to cut the other one, because I don't mind if he lives so much here anymore. Or I could just, you know, break the eye first and then continue attacking him. These sequences are important. These sequences, learning these sequences are actually quite important. Learning the sequences are very, very important. Okay, now he resigned. I'm going to climb this. So obviously, lack of counting skills, lack of counting skills and a basic Tsuji is what lost him the game here. So the thing is, like, that was a good move, but see, like, this is worth a lot of points, right? But the problem with this here is that these stones are very heavy, and if someone invades, here you don't really have like if someone invades, you don't really have a good answer to this, because if you do this, they can kind of just like cut you, and it's going to be hard for you to deal with like a cut from them, right? So here, because you went all the way to the bottom, you only have about 5 liberties. So if someone invades here, it could actually be kind of problematic. Like a move here might actually be worth it at this time. I haven't really looked at this in Katago, but even this might actually be problematic because you can't really go downward. Yeah, this would actually be kind of problematic. So this is like, this shape right here is not very good. It's not a very strong shape. It's very, very tightly packed. So you might actually just need to go here or something. I'm not really sure. I would actually look at Katago Trainer to see where this was. But yeah, like if you do this, like an invasion here is quite problematic because there's not a good answer to this. If you give up these, like Katago might actually just tell you to give up these 4 stones. That's a lot of points, but I have a lot of stones here. And like this territory seems like a lot, but it's actually not that much. I mean, he basically lost here, essentially, because he let me get so thick and he ate these stones. He already lost here, but like just based on this, these 4 stones may not be worth that much because like this stuff is already eaten and this is not alive. You can't attack this. So these 5 stones may not actually be worth all that much. So it actually might be just, might be, if I attack here, like the computer Katago, if you actually look at it, he might just tell you to like go here. And then if I spend like, another move to take care of these 4 stones or whatever, he might just tell you to go here because the 2 extra moves outside might actually be worth more than capturing these stones. If you look at capturing these stones, this is 10 points. This may be about 20 points. And it takes me 2 full moves to capture those stones. And plus, I've already spent all this other stones here too. So having these two moves might actually be worth more than what I'm actually getting for these stones. So keep that in mind. Like, if someone invades you and you don't have a good, if someone invades you and you don't have a good answer, as a lower rank, as a player, you have to think like, if I just ignore that invasion and he captures a couple of stones, is the value that he's capturing actually greater than the value I could get by playing 2 stones elsewhere? So that is that's like the real question you'd ask, and that's a concept that like after I started like reviewing with Katago and like talking with my dad, who's like a 9 Dan. Who's a 9 Dan on Fox and Taijim and stuff, like that's kind of what I realized, like, and that's a big difference between like my rank, which is probably like 5 or 6 Dan on Fox, and like 9 or 10 Dan on Fox, is that they realize that like sometimes like if you just invade here, it's really not worth all that much, or sometimes if you invade elsewhere, it's really not worth that much, and they're much better gaugers of value than I am, and that's where the 3 or 4 stone difference in strength actually comes from. This might actually look thick, but it's not actually that thick. Because like I said, if I invade here, there's not really a good answer. You can't just cap. You can't really go. I mean, you could go under, but you really don't want to do this. So yeah, this shape is not very good for him at all. But that's actually not where the game was lost. The game was actually lost here. This is a direct miscalculation by him. You should probably do that. You should most definitely do this. You should most definitely do this. That separates me. There's no real good way for me to answer this. And plus, like, this down here is still dead. This down here is still dead if you do this. There's really not much I can do about this. I can answer this. Then you can extend this way, and I would probably have to, like, live somehow down here. And yeah, like I would have to like live. No, you wouldn't do that, but like I would have to like actually live somehow down here. I think that's alive now. But then again, like you might protect this, but right now you might just like do something like this because your group is alive down here, and I have 2 separate groups that I have to run, and it's very very good for you. And both these groups, this is pretty big, and these are like keystones, so I don't want to lose them. So you'd be attacking both my groups at once like that. Here, I actually calculated this out. I knew this wouldn't work. I was pretty sure he was short by 1. I mean, here you would still do this, and then you would let me live, but then you also have like this move, which I would just curl right now, but you could also just like, you could also pressure like this group out here, and then also pressure this group out here. This is definitely, I would say this is definitely better for black. Because now I have like 2 really, really weak groups that I'm not really sure what to do with. So this is definitely like better for black than it is for white. So he had a very, very winning, he actually had a very, very winning shape here that he just messed up because he didn't calculate right on the corner. Because he forgot, he totally like, he totally forgot about that move there. Because he thought, like if he just did this, obviously like he would, and that doesn't even work because that move is actually right there. But obviously, like if I do this move, like even that doesn't really work. Because he actually, even that doesn't really work because you can't fill in. But I actually kind of just assumed that would actually work. But even if I didn't have the cut, I'd be okay. I could just go up here and he'd still be short of liberty. There's no way he can win that. So that was a big miscalculation. But I screwed up here in the corner. I don't actually know how to work. I actually don't know a good Joseki for this. I know I do that, but I actually don't know the best Joseki for this. Because if I go down here, he would just Hane, and that would be bad. So like I have to disconnect. He does this. Yeah, there's definitely problems with this. So I definitely did not do the best on that because that weakens that group out. Now, if this stone wasn't here, I think it'd be better for me right now. So that's definitely like this. I guess this invasion just wasn't a very good one. This invasion's just not a very good one. because doing this, like that and then that, I have to actually study this. I definitely have to study this Joseki more because I'm not really sure how this Joseki actually works. But, you know, like, that's okay because he messed up. And you can see, like, where he actually messed up. This stone... that was, like, a bad move. And, of course, like, going through with this... obviously, it's a very bad move, just lack of calculation. So be sure to actually read right, because this is actually off. This is actually off by like more than one liberty. This is definitely off. Like by when he did that and I did this game, and I did this. This was game over. You have to make this critical move. You absolutely have to make this critical move here, because that basically that essentially changes everything. That particular move changes everything. It separates me out. That is the key move, and the fact that he didn't make this move. I just cost him the game. So that is the game for today. I made some mistakes. Please tell me how I should play this Joseki in the corner, because like I do screw up in the beginning a lot, and that's why like I don't. That's why like I keep on losing some of the games at 5 and 6, because I don't know the Josekis like a lot of other people do, and I basically screw up really big in the beginning, and then I have to try to make up later in the game, which I do a lot of the times, because my fighting strength is generally stronger even at 5 and 6 stands. But like in the beginning, I'm not really sure how to deal with something like this. Of course, I wouldn't have made that invasion if I was playing against 5 or 6 stand. I'd probably just go out there somewhere. But you know, like this is just lack of calculate. This is definitely just like lack of calculations that cost him the game here. So I hope you learned something on this New Year's Day. Happy New Year. Hope you rank up in the new year, and I will see you guys later.